Sure. That's a really great question because I myself also find sustainability as sometimes too broad, and I'm not sure how am I going to develop my subject expertise in the area. So I guess I would suggest the younger generation, if you're trying to get into the field of sustainability, it is always useful to get some technical or knowledge in a particular area and to show interest in an industry or a focus area that you're most passionate about. For instance, if you are very interested in green building, how to save energy, how to build energy efficient buildings, embody carbon emissions, scope 3, then you should focus your expertise on some of the engineering knowledge and building knowledge. And for careers, you can also pursue in the fields of construction industry or real estate. In that way, you're able to build up a career ladder that can accumulate and make use of your subject expertise information. And it's also easier for you to build your credibility to communicate with other people in the industry. For instance, for construction industry, traditionally, it's a lot of experienced engineer working in the field, and it might be harder to communicate with them if you don't even know how to manufacture cement or concrete. So I guess understanding that, which area you would like to focus on, and to do your own research, study, and keep up to date with the industry trends would be really helpful.
I think for my immediate answer, it's going to be breadth. Okay, and the reason for that is, as I reflect back on my own experience, as I mentioned, my undergraduate was in biochemistry, and then I did a dual degree in business. The interesting about that was essentially you're looking at two completely different fields. And the beauty about that is that now you can understand, biochemistry, the science, the technical aspects of this, and I can understand the business side. Of how businesses typically work, what's important in business. And being able to essentially understand two different areas has really helped me in my career. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do science and business. I actually think that with where sustainability is going, as long as you have a little bit more breadth in terms of range of topics and ideas and knowledge that you can bring together, you can certainly have an advantage. You can focus on marketing. You can complement that with accounting, marketing, and even history. Believe it or not, history is actually quite an interesting major to look at. It's just if you have training and experience in different fields, you can start seeing how these different fields connect. That is, for me, the most useful learning and experience at university to prepare you for kind of sustainability. The reason for that is oftentimes people ask me what I do, and sometimes I jokingly or partially seriously say that I'm just a translator, right? I have this understanding of sustainability, and I'm a translator because I use sustainability, I use this understanding to help other people meet their expectations, meet their KPIs, and I have to translate the value of ESG and sustainability into a language that my finance director can understand, that our corporate communication side can understand the true value of, or even our operations. And all of this is about having the empathy to know what people care about. So that's what I'd say on the university side. Any need for clarification, thoughts on that first?
Just a history comment. I didn't realize you were a history buff.
No. It's a little bit. I'm definitely not a history buff, but I think that there's a lot you can learn from history. The thing about history is that going back to even just high school history, you're taught to look at ideas from multiple points of view. You're taught to look at the positive and the negatives of particular incidences. And when you take that learning and training to apply into sustainability, I found that to be very useful. Like I said, I can be a translator, and part of that is really to look at a particular issue and think, okay, from a sustainability standpoint, why should I care about sustainable financing? And because it's exciting, right? It's good to tie my ESG issues with finance. But when I start to look at it from a financial lens, how do I get my finance director to be interested in this? And he or she will care about cost of capital. And now it's starting to be, there's good evidence to show that companies that have strong ESG performance can enjoy the benefits of access to lower cost of capital. And again, this is really training from kind of a history lens where you look at an issue, multiple points of view, and kind of attack it with a comprehensive approach.
For my role now, I think the biggest challenge is to have to balance everybody's interests. For investors, they have a lot of interest, a lot of requirements that expect the corporations have to comply or follow. But then internally for corporations, because there are lots of priorities, and we may require lots of investment for implementing all those new initiatives. So we have to get the balance between what is expected by our stakeholders and what can be done by the corporations. So I think this is the most difficult part that we have to figure out when we introduce some new initiative for the corporations. For new for undergraduates, I think to prepare them to start their career, they have to broaden their knowledge, because apart from the what they learn from the university, they also have to know about the new or emerging trends, what are the global trends is about sustainability, and learn more from peer companies' experience. How do they deal with it, and what is the best example, and how can they persuade the management to go forward to do more about sustainability? And also, it's difficult to get management buy-ins, because for now, I would say some of the companies still think about sustainability is a greenwash or nice to have items, but actually it's not. When you talk to the investor and other stakeholders, and you will know what's the real world thinking, and we have to bring these ideas to the top management and educate them about what we have to do and what are the potential risks that we have to face if we fail to follow these kinds of emerging trends. So these are all things that students can learn from other companies' examples, the successful story, or even why they are failures. I think this is important to equip them to be part of the sustainability professional. Well, I would say, yeah, most of the graduate now, well, they have a higher degrees, not only a bachelor, and sometimes, well, when we recruit new staff, yeah, they would have a higher degrees for now. But I would say practical experience is more important than what you have learned from the university. The university just gave you the basic information about what is it, but then how to apply it in the real world, and then you have to practice. So I would say you can try after finish your bachelor degrees and look for jobs that you like, and of course you have to start from not a very high position, but then you can learn from it and get yourself prepared for a high position.
Susanna?
Thank you, Glenn. I share view of Jessica, but I'd just like to share some of my real life experience on really driven young professionals who's just graduated and perhaps didn't get the right degree and worry about it. And what I see nowadays as a lot in the market is flooded with people, flooded with probably the same qualification. My experience, those who get the chance are the ones who are very proactive. And certainly from my perspective, people who are proactive with me, then I say, I might give you more chance. You seem driven, you know. I think attitude counts, from my perspective. And education, you can like Jessica mentioned it. When you get the right chance, impress the right people, you may able to advance yourself. I give you a one classic example of one of my very proud young professionals. He studied finance when he's in a very prestigious university in London. He never had sustainability training, but he's driven to be one. So what he did is that he was studying in UK at the time, but as a student, and he wrote to me in Hong Kong because he's a Hong Kong Chinese and say, can I work for you? I said, okay, I need an interview. It's okay, I don't mind hiring an intern, doesn't really hurt me. So I interviewed, and it was lucky he was able to through with me, but nowadays I presume you can use Zoom. And he was very well presented, not just technical knowledge, but it is eagerness to learn. And when I hired him, I was so impressed with him. And he was working 5 times harder than my managers. I give him questions. He gave it to me the next day. I said, I gave it to you 5. He said, I worked till 3. I said, you don't need to. You are a student. And he really impresses me. And he asked me a lot of questions. So I was so impressed that I decided within the internship period, I let him shadow me. As in, like, apart from very confidential stuff, he stayed in my room and listened to everything. So he learned a lot. And after he left, he only spent about 1.5 with me. He keep contacting me, asking me questions that I would never envisage myself to do that when I was young. I was too timid to do that. But he was proactive, asking me questions, what should I do? What should I study? Can you be my referee? Etc. And he became a very well-trained professional and be ready. And he was immediately taken as a corporate to become a graduate. And he wasn't really have the right training. He just had a couple of internship for me, well-driven, prepared for him for some CPD, and it really managed to help himself to transit to the industry he aspired to into. And he's still in the industry right now, and we are friends.